Hi there. Just as a bit of a heads up, when I originally did this review audio, it was right before the release of Mia, David, and the Plaguebringer. So some of what I'm saying might be a little confusing, since I'll probably be referring to things as, pretense, as if it didn't happen. Just wanted to give that little heads up. Thank you, though, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks, everyone. Let me just start by saying that the Evil Dead game is great. Yeah, that's how I'm going to start this video. There is no way to describe it other than just a really solid game that is a godsend and a love letter to Evil Dead fans such as myself. Hi there, my name's LawrenceMynes, and it's been a while since I've actually sat down and done an actual full-hearted review of a game. Most of my previous ones that have been kind of more me rambling about my thoughts after I just beat the game, or things that have come to mind as I actively played it. So I figured, why not try again and give an honest review trying to review. And today, well, I just said that it's going to be the Evil Dead game. The main thing about this game is that it's a 4v1 game where 4 players play as heroes or the cast of the Evil Dead franchise, from Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, and the show, or they can play as the Kandarian demon. The goals of these two are pretty simple. Either you're playing as the survivors, where you're trying to seal the Dark Ones away, or as the demon, your goal is to protect beings known as the Dark Ones, and you're trying to help them kill the survivors or destroy the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, otherwise known as the Book of the Dead. What's kind of funny, though, is how these roles work in comparison to your average 4v1. The survivors are tasked with finding 3 map pieces scattered around, then survive horde modes with the Kandarian dagger in the missing pages of the Necronomicon. And pretty much after that, they confront the Dark Ones, seal them in the book, and have to do another little horde mode for 2 minutes in order to finally seal the Dark Ones away. What I like about this is the fact that it's displayed at the top of the screen when you play Survivor at all times, giving the players the knowledge they need to know where they need to go, what to do, where to find their objectives. I honestly think this is solid because there's no excuse for a Survivor not to do something. If they're focusing on the objective, good. If they're not, then they're most likely gearing up for the long fight ahead. Hilariously, the overall control scheme of the Survivor side is that of a looter-shooter. Kind of think something like Destiny or Borderlands. You'll find these crates kind of sitting around glowing, either white, blue, purple, or orange for legendaries. And you can find regular weapons like the white ones just kind of lying around. To get the better ones, though, you need to actively search for these chests. And they'll also hold upgrades for your stats as well. How do you upgrade your stats while in the middle of a match, you say? Well, a drink called Pink Fuck. Again, this game is just a massive love letter to the Evil Dead series. So, yeah, the Survivors' upgrades are Pink Fucks. They upgrade their stats with them, and it's, unironically, a drink that Ash and his friend Chet from the show made, which is basically a metric shit ton of liquor, sugar, and ketamine. Grabbing these pink bottles will allow you to literally just keep ahead of the demon, even granting you some unique abilities as you fully level them up. That's kind of why I like the Survivor role. It's actually really engaging. You're not just standing around waiting for an objective to be completed, you're actively trying to survive, find better equipment, and keep yourself as ready as you can and supplied in order to do things. This can even be said with the roles themselves. The roles all stand out from each other in really interesting ways. Leaders provide passive boosts with their auras and abilities, mostly in the form of a damage buff, or increase the damage to the demon's balance bar, their stamina in some way. Warriors are the tanky ones and focus on melee damage and, like I said, their health and shield. And they typically have abilities to keep them in those close-range combat scenarios longer. Hunters usually have the most stamina and are better with guns, able to even carry a ton of ammo and be out on their own without much hassle. Even having a lot of abilities that give them the ability to locate extra items, or ones that give them an edge regardless of whether they're alone or not. Finally, there's the supports, which are just that, The supports are characters that focus on healing each other and the whole team, and support abilities that keep them and the team in the fight, and out of the demon's clutches. It's honestly overall really simple, and given each of the play styles that the 4 different classes have, and how the survivors alone offer so many different ways to play, there's actually a ton of replay value ahead. And there's not even a survivor that really overlaps. While one survivor can really fit a role, there's usually a reason you would want to bring a particular survivor over another. Great example is the supports. Pablo is excellent in completing objectives given the demon can't track them easily, and passively gains amulets to raise the shields of his teammates. Cheryl is a general healer that can keep fear and health figured out, while also being able to just keep herself up and active. And Evil Dead 1 Ash is a combat medic who passively raises a team's damage while healing as he attacks with heavy attacks or headshots. You could unironically find a lot of different skills and tactics going on with the survivors, and are rewarded a lot of the time for experimenting and finding out what works for you, especially if you have a favorite of these characters. It's actually what's kind of nice because, again, the survivor role is just that, a survivor role that's really engaging. And yeah, some games you just won't have the best equipment, maybe for your character or in all, but that won't keep you down. As long as you know what you're doing, you could do a lot of impressive stuff in this game, and it's just a whole lot of fun. The demons, however, are a whole different ballpark. Once you take control of the Kandarian demon, things are really different. You fly around in a first-person camera, need to collect infernal energy to set up traps, level up, summon minions, possess the survivors even, and finally bring in your boss unit when you have the ability to. At first, it can be kind of hard to understand, essentially since it's also resource management, and since early game you need to find the survivors pretty soon, otherwise things can get kind of hard unless you're focusing on getting level ups. It just takes a moment, but the objective is as simple as the survivors, because your literal only goal is to kill the survivors or destroy the book if it gets that far. When you play as the demon, however, you actually get a decent selection of characters to pick from, albeit only 3. These characters are Henrietta from Evil Dead 1, otherwise known as the Warlord, Elagos from Ash vs. Evil Dead, labeled as the Puppeteer, and my personal favorite, Evil Ash, aka the Necromancer. The 3 playable demons, much like the survivors, don't play a lot like each other either. The Warlord is more about applying passive buffs in a way that keeps the units around you strong or hinder the escape or engagement of the survivors. The Puppeteer works to make survivors completely afraid, therefore making them easily possessible, and making possessed units, be it the basics, the boss, their elites, or survivors themselves, incredibly dangerous. And Necromancer's thing is, and I'm not joking here, forcing as many units out as possible and making them come back bigger and badder than ever. The 3 demons are just a blast to play, much like the survivors. There's a lot to come back and keep trying with them, be it a build centering around their powers, boss, the units, any number of those things. There's also solo content in the form of missions where you can play as one of the survivors and pretty much complete a series of objectives to unlock a bunch of certain things, either be it costumes or some of the characters that you can play as in the multiplayer matches. And they're pretty good for the most part. They're not too bad, but I do kinda have to start getting into my criticisms. And as solid as the gameplay is proving to be, I do have some genuine complaints, even if it's only a few. As of right now, the newest update coming out is the Kandarian Castle update, which only really introduced 1 new map and 2 weapons. So, first real thing to expect is not a lot of significant updates, and even then, the updates aren't going to necessarily hold a lot. You're just going to have to sadly settle for a lot of more passive patches rather than massive chapters. However, I personally don't have a problem with that, and it's what I prefer, so it's kind of something that's worth noting. There's also a problem I've noticed that both sides can really control the state of the game at times, making it just really hard, if not unplayable at times. That some matches, despite your best efforts on either side, you'll just get railroaded and literally just be stuck either in a constant stream of a demon killing someone or you, or survivors basically being semi-untouchable. and no matter how close you get to downing them, or even killing them, they'll still just near instantly get up. It's something that's kind of thankfully been taken out bit by bit and is still being worked on, but it's pretty noticeable, and there are matches where you just feel like you can't do anything. Another thing I want to bring up too is those solo missions I was talking about. For the most part, they are pretty fun and interesting. For example, the first one you have to do is literally playing through the first part of Evil Dead 2 as Evil Dead 2 Ash. And that's actually really cool. But then you spend a mission playing as Ash versus Evil Dead Ash, just collecting Wise Man's Brew. You know, the potion Army of Darkness Ash brings and drinks. Okay, that's not too bad, but I kind of get it. You know, he's more of a leader. He's not necessarily damage. They want to give you a simple task. Then they give you the Army of Darkness Ash to go hunting with a gun against demons. Okay, so they give you just a shooter? They just put you in randomly this weird little find the spot, kill the demons, then kill the boss sort of mission, which you don't even unlock anything special for Army of Darkness Ash. You actually unlock Amanda Fisher from the show. Then there's the mission with Pablo. I don't like the mission with Pablo. The mission with Pablo is really annoying because it basically forces you to use his stealth mechanic that is more about making it hard for you to be found in the fight as an actual stealth mechanic in the mission, which is a neat concept. Isn't that great? And the Lord Arthur mission is kind of the same, except now you're playing a leader that has more melee-focused skills that I honestly have no opinion on because it just started really simple, got really annoying, then you face off against two bosses. Yeah, so I don't really like the solo content all that much. It's not bad, but the fact that you have to do that to unlock Ash vs. Evil Dead Ash, Lord Arthur, Pablo, and Amanda is a bit annoying. And like I said, the missions can really be pains in the asses. So if you're looking to just play this game and get every character, just go ahead and get the solo missions done as quickly as possible. And while I say quickly as possible, don't be afraid to have to slow down if you have to. With all that being said, it's actually really refreshing to see a game, especially a 4v1 like this, that just sets out to be what it wants to be. A fun game that focuses on its gameplay to be a solid experience. I'm not saying other games do it necessarily better or worse, but I think this has been the game, even within just 3 months here, that has been hilariously one of the most consistent that I've seen. And I think that's amazing. I think that's great, especially as somebody who's come from DBD and how inconsistent some of those updates could really be. And speaking of the game here, right now, this game is just sitting at $40 on the Epic Store for PC. It's even got a new update slated to come out here with a new demon known as the Plague Bearer, and 2 survivors from the remake of the first Evil Dead movie if you have the Season Pass. Yeah, they're opting to just keep this ball rolling, and I'm really interested to see where it goes because so many people really want to see what these people can do, what this game can do. And honestly, again, I mean this, you could just rip off the Evil Dead part of this game and make it its own thing, and it would still be incredibly fun. Just being honest, would I recommend this game to anyone looking for a groovy time? Yeah, I fucking would. It's been an overall blast to play this game and well worth the money, despite the possible repetitive gameplay to some, the glitches, the bugs, the solo missions that can be kind of infuriating at times, poor matches. It's just a really solid, fun game that doesn't make you tear your hair out. It just wants to be a solid, fun game. And that's what I mean. Overall, if you're looking to slay evil with a chainsaw and boomstick, or conquer the realm of the living as a Kandarian demon, there is no better game to do it than this one. Give it a shot, and see how groovy this game can be. Hey everyone, just wanted to say real quick, thank you for coming back, checking out one of this quick little review I'm doing. I kind of want to do more review style like this, but I'll just kind of see how this video does. If you got any suggestions or criticisms, let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. If you want to catch me live, I actually do stream a bit. Catch me over at twitch.tv/LawrenceMynes. And yeah, hope to see you there. Hope you enjoy the review. Y'all have a good day. I'll catch you later.